Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface with Emergency Az number 19. Emergency Az videos, raw reactionary type of videos to breaking news within gaming that do tend to rather be Blizzard centric, and that won't change today. And also, because this is an Emergency Az video, it may contain fruity language, i.e. language of an adult nature. So if you are offended by such things, then this probably isn't the video for you to listen to. But if you're sticking around, then we've got stuff to discuss about the Azure and Crimson Waterstriders still. I did a video yesterday where I broke the news that Blizzard are actually nerfing these two mounts. They are removing the ability for these mounts to walk on water unless those mounts are in the respective worlds which you could actually get the item. So the Azure Waterstrider can walk on water in Pandaria, but Pandaria alone, not Draenor, not Outland, not Broken Isles, not Azeroth. And the Crimson Waterstrider, you can walk on water in Draenor, but nowhere else. Not Pandaria, not the Broken Isles, not Outland, not Azeroth, etc, etc. Now, I was rather kind of confused and perplexed about this. I didn't understand the logic or reasoning behind it. And there were a lot of people who brought up some good points as to why it wasn't a big deal, and people who brought up very good points as to why it was quite a big deal. Because, oh, now, just before I go into the because, actually, I will say anybody who was very annoyed and upset about this being taken away from those mounts, I promise you, by the end of this video, you will be okay. I am going to show you something and do something, and it's going to make stuff alright, at least temporarily. After I show you, Blizzard might want to do something else, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But yeah, people were legitimately upset because to get the Crimson Waterstrider or the Azure Waterstrider, you had to go through a lengthy progressionary pathway of content. You actually participated in levels of content that took up a fair bit of your time, especially with the Crimson one, to unlock this item. The reward wasn't the mount per se, although it came in the form of the mount. The reward was technically the utility. The utility to have a mount that was capable of walking on water. And because mounts were account wide, then this also gave your alts a little bit of a benefit as well. One thing that we can't blow out of all proportion though is the amount of time that we actually spend walking on water. It's not that much in the grand scale of the World of Warcraft, unless of course you go to a coastline and very specifically mount it up and going around the side. Now, the good points which were raised were, even though the water walking ability was being taken away from these two mounts, there were still 3 classes that could walk on water mounted anyway. There was the Warlock, there was the DK, and there was the Chamois. Now, one thing that I've got to stress though, out of those 3 classes, 2 of them can do it via a spell. One of them does it via a glyph. The Warlock can only ride on water with its Dreadsteed if it is glyphed to do so. And with glyphs getting a complete revamp in Legion, there is nothing to say that Blizzard will not take away that glyph from Warlocks. Now, Death Knights and Chamois, there's nothing for you to panic about just yet, because Path of Frost and Water Walking are in Legion. Those spells are still existing at the moment, but Warlocks, one thing I do have to say is glyphs are not available for testing at the moment, so currently Warlocks cannot ride on water, full stop. So, if they are taking away the utility from the Waterstriders, it doesn't necessarily mean that they'll take it away from Death Knights and Chamois, because we've had this Blizzard, at least attempting to in Legion, de-homogenize classes. We've had way too much homogenization going on in the World of Warcraft over the last few years. In Legion, one of the things that Blizzard are desperately attempting to do is to make each class and spec feel different. So the Affliction Warlock to feel very different from the Demonology Warlock, which I imagine is going to be very different from the Destruction Warlock, and that's how they want to break it down. So to have two classes, Death Knights, Chamois, and that's what I'm going to go with for argument's sake at the moment, that have the ability to be mounted and walk on water, could be the special snowflakes of the classes. I don't think it's going to cause anyone to start re-rolling DKs and Chamois just to get that ability. I think that would be a complete overreaction, and I think that would be pretty fucking dumb, to be perfectly honest with you. So from that angle, I can fully understand why people say it's not huge, especially for those two classes. Now, what I also can see is the flip side of the coin. The reason why people are getting upset. If you have, of course, spent all that time trying to get the Azure or the Crimson Waterstrider, then because of the fact that they have been available for 2 expansions now, at least one of them has been available for 1 expansion, this is not game-breaking stuff. These are not mounts which have caused the World of Warcraft any peril. These are not mounts which have caused the game to be so unbalanced that they've had to do something drastic to respond to do so. No. So in taking away the ability to walk on water from these 2 mounts, there has to be an ulterior motive. And this is what I was saying in yesterday's video. I didn't understand why they did it. The logic wasn't there. And if the logic wasn't there, then it meant that there was a motive. There was an ulterior motive, which meant they were trying to do something. Something was trying to be implemented in. Now, to all the tin hat theorists out there, I absolutely 100% categorically telling you right now, they will not put it on the Blizzard store. Even Blizzard are not that fucking dumb to do so. If they did it, the absolute fallout would be colossal. So no, tin hat theorists, it's not going up on the Blizz store. People that said it just as a joke, yeah, okay, we kind of get the joke. People that said it seriously, open a window, breathe some fresh air. Okay, so don't worry about that. But the general consensus was that it looked like the reason why they'd taken away the ability to walk on water from these 2 mounts was to push people into getting the fishing artifact item, because there is an ability that you can unlock called surface tension, which allows you to walk on water. And the theory, because this is not in practice yet, the theory is that it will also be working if you mount up. And I believe that, yeah, so we'll just take that for now. I'm not going to go into the belief stuff. I'm not going to go into the hypotheses and stuff. But yeah, so you utilize that surface tension ability. Not only can you walk on water, but I think you can be mounted up on any mount that you want to be on. So it doesn't matter. You choose the mount that you want to walk on water, and whoosh, off you go. Now, this to me is cynical. And the reason why it is cynical is because you are purposely pushing and forcing people into doing stuff by taking away not only something which they earn through time, effort, and of course time in the World of Warcraft, because it is a subscription-based game, equals fucking money, first of all, but it means that you're taking away people's fun. It is fun to be on these Waterstriders and be able to go around on the surface of water. It's a fun thing to do. And World of Warcraft is so devoid of fun at the moment, with Warlords of Draenor being so dreary and pathetic, that even little things like that grate on people. We've had literally a year and a half now, whatever it is, of the launch, a year and a quarter of Chinese torture with Warlords of Draenor. Little drips and drips and drips of fucking nothing happening with the game, and it's driving us insane. So you take away something like that, people feel cheated, people feel hard done by. And on top of that, if you are trying to force people into doing something. So if you're trying to force people into getting the fishing artifact because, hey guys, we created a fishing artifact for you and we're desperate for you to play it, so we're going to force it onto you, stuff like that, often in the World of Warcraft, tends to blow up in developers' faces. Every time they try and force people into doing PvP, it normally ends in complete and utter disaster. Whenever they try and force you into doing dailies, it backfires horribly. So trying to force people into doing something, no, Blizz, no, does not work. Now, I tweeted out yesterday, you got to follow me on Twitter, people, you get all the cynicism, but I tweeted out yesterday, wouldn't it be a revolutionary idea by Blizzard to do something complete and utterly different? Try and make fishing fun. Let's face it, let's be complete and utterly honest. Even the staunchest of WoW lovers out there, come on, you've got to hear me now, and you've got to be brutally honest with yourself, even if it's not with me, just with yourselves. Fishing is fucking shit in WoW. It is so goddamn boring. It is terrible. And I know people do it as a labour of love, and I use that love very loosely indeed, but it is not a fun thing to do. Yes, it's something that you can sink time into. Yes, it's something that you can have Netflix and chill on while you're doing it. But for the love of God, putting fun next to fishing? No fucking way. It is absolutely god awful. What I personally would have done is, if the team were creating a fishing artifact and I had any kind of say in the matter, what I would do with this massive team of World of Warcraft developers, these 220, 30 odd people that are working on the game, is just pull 2, 3, 4 aside and say to them, look, I want you guys and gals to reinvent fishing for the World of Warcraft. And I want you to approach it from the angle that fishing is a mini game. Instead of a gathering profession, it's a mini game. And use that and run with it. Fishing in Final Fantasy XIV, it's not the most fun thing in the world, I'm not going to lie to you, but it's 10 times better than fishing in the World of Warcraft. And there have been plenty of other games out there, whether they've just been regular RPGs, where fishing has actually been a mini game within these games. So there is no way or no reason why Blizzard shouldn't approach fishing from that sort of angle. And I don't just mean this horrible culture which seems to be coming into the World of Warcraft at the moment, which is the over-incentivization in a desperate effort to get people to do the same content over and over, i.e. just throw rewards at people and make those rewards better and better and better and better and say, hey, aren't you having fun doing this content? Because when you first did it, before you slit your wrists, you got a 600 item level. But now, by the end of 2 years, and you're now a skeleton because you rotted away, because you killed yourself, you're actually getting item level 710. Whee! No, it doesn't work like that. Over-incentivization, or the extra adding of incentivizations to do the same content, doesn't fucking work. People want something new. People want something fresh to do. The reward element is actually very much a secondary thing to everything. So they should approach it from the fact that they should actually make the art of fishing more interesting, the art of catching fish a little bit more interesting, or the very fact that other things could occur while fishing. Getting attacked by pirates, pulling up treasure chests, all those kind of things, pulling up letters in bottles which open up quest chains, yada 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 yada, that can push people into other directions and just make fishing aspect of it the focal point. That's what I would personally do. But heaven fucking forbid we would ever dare look at trying to make fishing or trying to add fun elements into the World of Warcraft. Let's keep those accountants making this game as boring as it possibly can be at the moment. So, what can we do about what's going on? People who are really pissed about not being able to ride their mounts on water, what can you do now in Legion that's going to make you happy? Well, I'm going to show you right now. And the idiocy of the matter is that when I show you what's going to happen here, it makes the nerfs to the Waterstriders complete and utterly redundant. Now here I am in High Mountain. This is exactly where I am on the map, right next to the Nessinwary camp. That's where I'm facing. And then to the right of it, we have this rapid river flowing. But look what just fell down the waterfall. It's a treasure chest, a secret treasure chest, which is actually quite difficult to grab because the rapids are pushing you really, really quickly indeed. But if you just time it correctly, push yourself up against the rapids and then allow yourself to drift down alongside of it, you'll be able to open up the chest, and inside you'll see the sculpted Eagleborn ring. Now, because jewelry in Legion no longer has primary stats, everybody can wear any ring that they pick up. But this one is a special little snowflake. It gives you an additional buff. What is the additional buff? That it allows you to walk on water with your mount. So it makes like I said before, it just makes nerfing the Waterstriders complete and utterly redundant. It makes it a silly nerf that was completely unnecessary to do. Now, the only reason they can correct this, or the only way that they can correct this, is by removing this very item which they've put into the game. So to remove the ring to stop people from doing so. And then if Blizzard want to dispute the fact that the reason why they did the nerfs to the Waterstriders wasn't to try and force people towards the fishing artifact, and that it was actually a matter of the mount's utility which they wanted to bring in line, then they've got to look at the utility for everything else, like two-player mounts, grounded or flying. That surely that is just as bad as being able to walk on water. Or mounts which offer vendors, like the Expedition Yak and the Mammoths. I mean, they give people an unfair advantage if we want to go by that sort of logic. So it just doesn't make sense that they have done this unless they course correct by actually removing other stuff that they brought into Legion. But there you go. I hope you enjoyed the vid, and at least now we can walk on water in Legion. If you did, do get a thumbs up and also subscribe. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming. Links are in the description down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care, everybody. Bye-bye.